Make a quick note there, Sam. So one place you guys are going to see commonly the downflow furnaces would be in mobile homes. So those always have, well, I shouldn't say always, but I've never seen one that didn't have a downflow furnace. So that's a very common area where you might see things are looking wonky to you, if you're kind of new to the field. But here's a great side-by-side photo of, identical furnaces, but just in different orientations.
Okay, yeah. So sometimes like the in BC, so some areas there's no basement, no crawl space, so they use the down floor furnace. Yeah, so that matter is a mobile house, it's a regular house. Yeah, but most time the mobile home is use down floor. Okay, so types of furnace here is a compare of the downflow and the upflow. Yeah, it's just like we talk about that. So upflow, so the blower motor, this one is a control board, is all in the bottom compartment. Yeah, so the air goes through the filter and then blow up, and this area is the heating area. We can see the burner here and the gas valve and the inducer motor and some like the pressure switch and all the exhaust through this like the aluminum or steel chimney. Yeah, so the downflow is just upside down. Yeah, so normally so for the new technology, so the furnace we can install upflow, downflow, and horizontal. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So how do you want to install? So the only thing, so when you install the downflow or horizontal, maybe you have changed the inducer motor direction. So because there's the flue blow up or blow down or blow the horizontal side and even the condensate water. So we need to think about that. So all the stuff should be in the manufacturer. Oh, sorry, should menu. Yeah. So if you install different like the upflow, so you should read the menu and to know how to change the inducer motor direction, and that's called yeah. So don't cause the trouble for the condensate.
Make a quick notes here, Sam, just about the inspection process, guys. So, when you take your photos of the furnace, and you take off the upper and lower furnace cabinets, you want to be checking for a few things. So, first off, you want to see if there's a filter installed. You want to make sure the filter is actually installed properly. So generally they'll have a little arrow. So usually they'll have airflow written on it with an arrow pointing towards it. So the easiest way I tell my clients is just make sure the arrow points towards the furnace. That's the easiest way to know, because sometimes you may have a different orientation. So a lot of times just looking at the furnace size to make sure it's actually sized accordingly, or the actual state of it. If it's extremely dirty, will tell you a lot about the maintenance of the house. So, after you check the furnace filter, you might want to take a look inside the actual plenum as well, because you see the image on the left, you have the filter rack, you can pull it out and you can actually look inside the plenum. So after you took a quick look down there, take a look inside the furnace cabinet. So you can start with the lower one if you want, or the upper, it really doesn't matter. But again, you want to be checking for any sort of debris, any sort of corrosion. If there's a motherboard with, more modern furnaces, you want to be checking for any sort of loose connections or any sort of scorching, because obviously that may impede the way the actual furnace functions. Looking for any sort of flame rollout, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, any sort of corrosion, any sort of watermarks. And of course, your audio and visual clues as well. If you hear any sort of squeaking or rattling, that should be a sign that there may be some servicing that's required. And of course, again, if you smell anything that's burning, or again, we're going to be talking about gas detection here in a little bit, but those are some additional tools that you want to bring to the job site to make sure that you're doing a decent inspection. And a lot of home inspectors will carry around carbon monoxide detectors. So they may take the detector, they may go outside, calibrate it, and then either go to the exhaust vent or they go to a heat register, and they may place the monoxide detector there just to see if there's any sort of integrity loss with the unit. primarily with the heat exchanger.
Okay, thank you.
When I first moved into this place here, my furnace required a 5-inch wide filter, and it had a 1-inch wide filter, and it was sucked halfway into the plenum. So not good.
Yeah, very common. Absolutely. And there's, some older furnaces, they'll have hidden compartments. So a lot of, I've definitely come across furnaces that have never had their, filter changed in 50 years because they didn't know that was installed in the back of the unit, like a low void typically. Yeah, maybe. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Nate.
I said gross.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, other things, which again, we'll be discussing about, but you'll notice, Sam, do you want to actually talk about the gas drain, the gas valve, the unions and armored cable and sediment traps?
Okay, so I think we have some slide somewhere, right? For the
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Okay, so in fact, so I can talk about that. So like for the so we should know is like the airflow. So from the return goes through the filter. So on the filter for some time, so is for some furnace is very hard to take out. So that I think the home inspector should know. Yeah. So on make notes there, and if they can change. So the technician should be change the filter rack and make it's easier to change. Sometimes it's very hard to change. Yeah, so that's not good, and the customer don't want to change the filter because it's very hard to get it. Yeah, so that's cause lots of trouble. Yeah, and for the like you said for the gas train here, so we normally for the new furnace. So that's a gas valve is like we call it a 4-in-1. It's a different parts, like a very old furnace. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 different parts, but all these 4 different parts is the same function with like this one gas valve now. Yeah, so if I think so still can meet some old furnace. I just met a very old furnace. I think 1 month ago. So there's still 4 different parts. So we call it 80% safety. So because like this one, so we cannot see the pilot pipe, but that very old furnace. So there's a small parts here, so and connect to the gas pilot pipe to the burner. But this one, so it's not go through the gas valve. It goes through a small parts, and there's a handle here. It just can shut off the gas by the handle. It's not shut off the gas by the gas valve. So this is very old furnace. So if you met that one, so I think it's better to make no series very old and is recommend to change the new furnace. Yeah. So for the gas side, so we saw the gas pipe here, and this is gas supply, and goes through the gas valve here, and normally like the thermostat, so we can control the gas valve open or close. Yeah, so when the thermostat is call for heat, so like this furnace, we have inducer motor. When the thermostat call for heat, the inducer motor will be start. So after the inducer motor start, so the pressure switch will tell the control board, okay, so there's the inducer motor is started. So we can go to the next step, turn if there's a pilot, we'll light the pilot. If the new furnace there's no pilot, so the igniter will be glue, and then light light the big flame. So that's normally the gas side control. Yeah, the newer furnace, there's more control, more safety control. Yeah, so that's we will talk about this later. Okay, so yeah, so this in slab heat duct. So if you met like a downflow furnace in a building that has a basement below the grade, so be sure to check the corrosion in the duct work system. So like this one, so we saw maybe there's a water inside before, and makes it's better thing like this. It's rusted, and sometimes maybe it's broken inside the the pipe. So that's when I stay in the BC, I saw one of a building like this one. So all the duct is in the concrete. So we even cannot repair. So the pipe inside, if it's broken, the sun or some stuff will be go inside the pipe. It's harder to clean. So any moisture, rust, mold, and some stuff maybe should be documented in your report and just make notes. So I don't know if there's any idea to repair like that. So because it's hard even needed to break the concrete. So and now maybe you cannot see the in slab heat system like this. So most time we cannot see.
Yeah, if you guys come across these in-slab heat ducts, be sure if you can to actually pull up the register to look down, because like Sam said, if you see any sort of standing water, any corrosion, any debris, you definitely want to point it out, because usually there's no point in repairing the systems. Usually they'll just terminate it, flood the ducts, and just have a a typical conventional system where you have it through through the ceiling.
Yeah. So I'm at a commercial building. It's like the in-slab heat duct system. So that's in Saskatchewan. So and there's a lot of flooded in Saskatchewan because the water penetrate to the the basement or duct system. So that's caused lots of trouble. It's a bad smell, and even the moisture in the house is feel not comfortable. Yeah, so this should be very careful. So sometimes you use the mirror or some like the camera, the inside the camera, you can see the inside. So there's some stuff blocked maybe.